You wake up before the alarm. For 3 seconds, the room feels quiet enough to disappear. Then, your hand reaches for the phone. You never actually decided to move it. There are no important messages waiting. Still, the screen feels impossible to ignore. You unlock it without knowing why. The habit moves faster than your thoughts. You scroll for a few seconds. Nothing changes, but stopping somehow feels uncomfortable. You put the phone down again. The emptiness stays exactly where it was. A few minutes later, you open the refrigerator. You already know nothing new is inside. You stare for 5 silent seconds. Then you close it without taking anything. You were never really hungry. You just wanted something to happen. That is the first clue. Your brain confuses motion with progress. You check the time on your phone. 1 minute later, you check it again. The numbers barely changed at all. But certainty needed another tiny confirmation. You walk into another room. Suddenly, you completely forget why you came. You stand there pretending to think. Then you return and instantly remember. Your mind was already somewhere else. The present moment was left behind. You send a simple message. 3 seconds later, you open it again. You reread your own words carefully. Now one sentence begins to feel strange. The reply has not arrived yet. Your imagination has already created 3 endings. You think you are being careful. Maybe you are trying to control uncertainty. This is not one habit. This is one mechanism wearing different masks. At night, you remember something embarrassing. It happened years ago, maybe even childhood. Nobody else remembers that moment. Somehow, your body still reacts like it happened today. Your face tightens in the darkness. The past suddenly feels alive again. Then you try remembering yesterday's compliment. Strangely, the details almost disappear. Pain leaves fingerprints inside memory. Pleasure often leaves only a shadow. You think your mind is broken. But it may be doing exactly what survived. Thousands of years ago, danger mattered more than comfort. Comfort rarely needed urgent attention. The person who noticed threats survived. The person who ignored them became history. That old system still runs quietly. It just has new things to fear. Now the predator is an unread message. Now the forest is your inbox. You refresh the same page again. Deep down you know nothing changed. Still, waiting feels worse than disappointment. At least checking feels like action. Your salary arrives in the morning. You check the balance 3 times anyway. The number stays exactly the same. The worry somehow stays exactly too. You are not really checking money. You are checking whether safety has arrived. But safety never announces itself permanently. The brain always asks for more proof. You lock the front door. Then you walk back just to check again. You already knew it was locked. But knowing once did not feel enough. You set the alarm before sleeping. Then you check it one more time. The fear is not the alarm. The fear is trusting tomorrow. You promise yourself tomorrow will be different. This time, you honestly believe it. Tomorrow you will wake up early. Tomorrow you will become disciplined, focused, unstoppable. Then morning arrives with ordinary gravity. Suddenly 5 more minutes feels reasonable. 5 minutes becomes 30. The future version of you disappears before breakfast. You blame yourself immediately. The word lazy feels simple enough to believe, but maybe laziness was never the real story. Maybe delay protected you from failure. Starting would test who you are. Waiting lets the fantasy survive another day. The task remains untouched. Somehow it grows heavier every hour you avoid it. You open one video to relax. The next one appears before guilt can speak. 3 videos later, the evening feels stolen. Nothing terrible happened, yet something was lost. Before sleeping, you promise another fresh start. Hope returns easier than change. This cycle feels personal. But millions repeat it in private every night. You open social media for 1 minute. 20 minutes vanish without asking permission. A stranger posts a vacation photo. Suddenly, your own weekend feels smaller. Someone announces a promotion. Your progress begins shrinking inside your own mind. Someone buys a beautiful house. The room you liked yesterday feels disappointing today. Nothing in your life actually changed. Only the comparison changed the lighting. Your ancestors compared themselves with neighbors. You compare yourself with infinite strangers. Your brain treats every image as information. Every life becomes another silent measurement. Enough becomes impossible to see. There is always another person slightly ahead. You add something to your shopping cart. You do not buy it yet. Somehow leaving it there already feels good. The fantasy gives a temporary reward. You imagine the version of yourself owning it. That version seems more complete. The purchase was never only about the object. It was about becoming someone else. When the package finally arrives, excitement peaks. Then ownership slowly becomes background noise. A week later, it feels ordinary. Another product begins glowing somewhere else. You think you are chasing happiness. Maybe you were chasing the moment before happiness. Anticipation is often louder than arrival. Wanting can feel better than having. Planning the vacation feels magical for months. Coming home feels strangely empty after days. Imagining success feels powerful and clean. Living success becomes complicated and familiar. Fantasy removes every inconvenience automatically. Real life keeps every imperfect detail. That is why the future looks brighter. It has not been touched by reality yet. You keep imagining a future self. That person finally has everything under control. They wake up early, without resistance. They never scroll, doubt, panic, or hesitate. They always know what to say. They never replay conversations in the shower. You chase that person for years. Somehow they keep moving farther away. Every improvement creates a new standard. Every achievement becomes the new minimum. The mountain grows while you climb it. The summit moves before you arrive. This is why success feels temporary. Your brain adapts faster than your gratitude. Yesterday's miracle becomes today's furniture. You stop noticing what once amazed you. Ancient humans needed that adaptation. Satisfaction could become dangerous too quickly. Enough food today did not guarantee tomorrow. Enough safety tonight did not guarantee morning. The cautious gathered more than necessary. The comfortable sometimes stopped too soon. So, your mind learned one lesson. More might save you later. That lesson survived everything. It entered cities, careers, relationships, and phones. Now it tells you to earn more. Then it tells you to prove more. It tells you to improve yourself. Then it changes what improvement means. It tells you happiness is ahead. Then it moves ahead with it. You thought the problem was desire. But desire was only the surface. Underneath it was an older hunger. Not for pleasure, but for safety. You never wanted endless money. You wanted the fear to stop speaking. You never wanted endless attention. You wanted proof that you mattered. You never wanted the perfect life. You wanted permission to finally rest. But the brain rarely gives permission. It keeps scanning the horizon. One ordinary day, you notice it. Your hand reaches for the phone again. This time, you pause before touching it. The habit becomes visible for 1 second. Nothing dramatic happens outside you. But something quiet changes inside. Maybe the voice saying, "Not enough," was never your enemy. Maybe it was an ancient alarm. Maybe nothing was missing from your life. Maybe your mind forgot how to recognize enough. And maybe peace begins when you stop chasing the next horizon and finally notice the ground beneath your feet.